I grew up in Woodhaven, Jamaica Avenue, East New York, between East New York and Jamaica, Queens. The guys like myself that came from no money, most of our area was, lower class, lower middle class. A lot of crime, violence outside the mob and with the mob. So I was pretty innocent compared to all my friends. I was a kid when I first baseball batted. But my friends were all carrying guns and they were killing guys young, very young. And I'm talking young, 12, 13, 14 years old. Fat Andy went away. The up and coming guy was John. He was intelligent. He wasn't a dumb man. Young guy. Must have said 100 times that the governments are the gangsters, not us. His families that were suffering because you opened those borders. He's talking about lives of kids that were killed, that were murdered, children. And they're ordering out to kill and torture babies. They killed babies, infants. I just think that because of experience, you can go out and try to reach people and make sure that they don't make those same mistakes that we did. I said when you cross that line, there's no coming back, right? You destroy yourself, and part of you dies with them.
You were kicking off the 2025 season with John Alite. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy day. I know you're a really busy man. Being one of the founding fathers of the mobcast genre, I think you are the founding father of it.
Yeah, I was. I was the founding father of this genre. Yes. So,
What, so tell me a little bit about what it was like, where you grew up.
I grew up in Woodhaven, Jamaica Avenue, East New York, between East New York and Jamaica, Queens.
Hmm.
So it was a middle area where I grew up. Actually, was Irish and German. Down on the East New York side was Spanish. On the left side, it was black. If you go down to Ozone Park and Howard Beach, it was mostly Italian.
Hmm.
So the guys with the money were down in Ozone Park and Howard Beach. The guys like myself that came from no money, most of our area was, lower class, lower middle class, and a lot of crime, violence outside the mob and with the mob. So it was just,
Yeah.
the hood, so any neighborhood that's, in poverty, it's the same thing. Everybody's hustling, selling drugs, getting killed, and that was the life.
Now is that was like a stronghold for the mob in that area?
Ozone Park and How Beach was Jamaica Avenue later on. It was a hangout for a lot of gangsters. I mean, they stood up there.
Hmm.
Guys at the bar we used to grow up in was mob connected, and the White Horse, and the other one was the Circus and Shamrock.
Hmm.
Two of the owners got killed at Shamrock. I've done some shows, and I've done Trevor McDonald Mafia 1 or 2 in the UK, and we talked about between 86 and 87th Street. The Shamrock, the owners got killed. A couple of our friends, about 8 guys got killed on that block
Oh
alone.
wow.
So it was a dangerous spot.
Were you did they seek you out? Like did they see like potential in you to groom you up?
It's like anything is in that world. If you don't know somebody, it's hard to be just to step in without them knowing your reputation. With me, I just grew up in the life because of uh, Albert Ruggiano was my baseball coach. His dad was the neighborhood boss.
Hmm.
And my dad's friends were Lucky Luciano's cousin, Charlie Luciano, made guy, Gambino family. So I just happened to grow up in that life there. So you're slowly getting, brought into that world without realizing. And I also grew up around the Gaddies. Gatti. They were little KZ guys,
Yeah.
and I dated as a little child the niece. So I just happened to grow up in an area where everybody was gangsters.
We're What was your first interaction with the Gottis? Like, how were
Um,
you introduced to them? Was like were when you first started coming in? I guess the best way to phrase it would be: was this before Paul Castellano got murdered?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. A couple of years before, 3, 4 years actually.
Okay.
You know, the problem is the outside people that don't understand this world. You know, you get that in every aspect. You get it in politics.
Hmm.
People talk nonsense that don't know what they're talking about, and they want to be opinionated without having an opinion that's based off of personal experience. And so you're always going to get people that try to the big mouths or think they're experts in whatever field, whether it's mechanics, whether it's sports, or whether it's in this genre. So
Yep.
it's just human nature for people to talk too much.
But so was it like, wait, did John end up taking over? John Gotti Senior took over your area for Anthony Ruggiano.
Yeah, exactly. When Fat Andy went away,
Hmm.
um, the up and coming guy was John, and he was well known after Andy went away. They all grew up together since they were kids, actually.
Hmm.
So it's not like they didn't know each other. They all knew each other. They knew what he was capable of, and he was good with people. You know, people say the same thing. Listen, to be a gangster and an intelligent one, you don't have to be book educated,
Hmm.
which he wasn't. He was self educated later on. He was people have him as if he was a dummy. He really wasn't. He read all the time.
Hmm.
You know, he might not have went to school. Either did my dad. My dad grew up, stopped in the third grade. But John actually read a lot, and people don't know that. You'd go into his office at the Bergen, and he was always reading a book. You know,
Really?
that's one of the things that really doesn't come out about him. He was intelligent. He wasn't a dummy. You know, he come off the way he spoke, tough. But part of that is also you got to be a part of an actor in the street to make sure you keep these people at bay without using violence. And he tried to do that. He was actually good at that too. He wasn't as violent as everybody thought. His demeanor and the way he spoke intimidated people enough. He didn't have to hurt guys or kill guys as often as people think.
When you were coming up, I know, like, I mean, your history with that street life is like your reputation is goddamn supernatural at this point. Like, I mean, we're how long, like, I know you said you were kind of young when you started dealing with bats and knives and kind of amping the game. Like, how old were you when you started carrying a gun, and were you actually put in, like, a real piece of work, for the family?
I was a kid when I first baseball batted somebody, but like I always say, it's not. I was pretty innocent compared to all my friends.
Hmm.
All my friends were around, in 7 and 9 gang. I wasn't part of that. I was friends with them, but I wasn't wearing colors. I didn't hang out. My father was against that. He had a big influence on me, and so I didn't do that. But my friends were all carrying guns, and they were killing guys young, very young, and I'm talking young, 12, 13, 14 years old. I was nowhere near like that
Hmm.
until I used a bat when I was young for Gaddy, collecting money for him. That was the beginning for me, and I was in my teens.
Hmm.
Um, but again, when I talk about the neighborhood, when people think that, I'm exaggerating bullshit, and I've always asked everybody, I call them out on it, well, be specific, because you can't run through all the names in my neighborhood that are dead. And it has nothing to do with me. The guys that got shot, everybody that stayed with us got killed,
Hmm.
or did a lot of killing. It wasn't, and I was the slow guy. I was slow on the go, as they say. I wasn't the trigger guy growing up. I become that guy, but I wasn't that guy. All the rest of my friends were actually. So they were moving around with guns, getting into gunfights with other neighborhoods, and started off with bats and chains and bullshit and knives, but then it moved up to the game of guns. And I remember they had a shootout one time on Jamaica Avenue. And in those days, I didn't play around with guns. They were like I was about 16 or 17, and they shot it out with right. They brought rifles out. They brought everything out.
Holy
Everybody was
shit!
shooting all over the place. I wasn't one of those guys. I didn't have the gun.
Yep.
They did. And we had a funeral parlor right around the corner from us where I told you all those killings were. And guys ran back there, and I made a joke. I says, they're going in the right area. And one of my friends says, what are you talking about? I says, if they get killed back there, they could just, can have their wake there at the same time. But, my friends chased them with guns. If they would have caught them, they would have killed them. They didn't catch him. And they, I mean, literally, we were 15, 16, 14, some guys, 17 other guys, but young. I was the only guy that didn't have a gun that day.
Yeah, there was an area in Waterbury. It's called Willow Street is what it's called. At the bottom of the hill, they have two funeral homes. So like everybody talks that it's like they just peel you off the ground and just they bring you right to the funeral home. They don't even waste the time because that area I mean, there was a cop that was murdered out there. It's wild. It's the Wild West, and it's a lot of young kids, especially coming after COVID. New York City emptied out in a lot of areas, and a lot of the New York gangs came into Connecticut, and they have different opinions on how things should go. So Waterbury's like the Wild West right now. Bridgeport's another one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know the young kids in my old neighborhood now that are selling drugs. But there was a young assemblywoman, an Indian woman, a Democrat actually opposite party that I'm affiliated with,
Mm-hmm.
and she asked me through a guy if I could talk to those kids and get them off of Jamaica Avenue. And she was running at the time. So it was important for her to do it. I says, yeah, I'll do it. And right in the meeting, because my cousins used to own a diner right on the corner of 86th Street. They're like distance cousins, but we all say cousins. And we had a meeting there, and different people own it. And I says, yeah, no problem. And I went across the street. She got all nervous. She goes, where you going? I says, I'm going to do what you just asked me to do. And she says, you just going to go talk to them? Because I guess they heard a lot of guys threaten a lot of guys, and nothing's changed. They're stabbing and shooting guys.
Mm-hmm.
So I went over, and the owner of the store, they all know me from years ago, obviously, from you had a reputation there.
Yeah.
And I didn't know they would know me. The store owner knew me. And so I told him, I go, do me a favor, buddy. I says, whoever these guys are that hanging out in the store, and I go, I know the deal. In other words, I know that he can control them. And, so they hang out there for a reason. And I said, just move them up in the park because a couple blocks up, 3 blocks up is the park.
Mm-hmm.
I says, after the election, they can do what they want. I says, but for now, send them up there. And they complied right away. Actually, that night they complied. And, they out of courtesy for me. So, as crazy as the street is,
Yeah.
there is a respect value between guys and groups, and so you could get things done because they got respect for you. When it's very difficult for somebody in law enforcement to have that reach with these guys because you need some sort of connection. So I had a little connection with them because of my past, and they did the right thing. And I'm not saying they were all bad kids. They're no different than I was. You're a good kid doing stupid things, and that's not the way the world works. And unfortunately, when we're young, we're too stupid to know that.
When you were that young, and do you think somebody could have reached you? Because I know you do a lot. You advocate and you motivational speak, and you go on behalf of a lot of kids that are lost, kind of troubled with, that are on the way to that life. Do you think somebody could have reached you, or do you think you were just too kind of clouded by that life at that time?
I wouldn't have changed my life back then. I wasn't ready for a long time. But as far as respecting, I had a lot of respect for a lot of street guys. I'm not talking about mobsters now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about black gang members that I knew, Spanish gang members I knew,
Mm-hmm.
white gang members that I knew. But if they asked me, an older guy asked me to do him a favor and move my business up top for a while, I would have did it. Yeah, I would have did the same thing those guys because we have a respect for, in that life, for the older guys that were in that life or were in that life.
Yeah.
So that part, yeah, I respect a lot of guys when they would ask me to do things. I would, lack of better words, I'd obey and show a courtesy to who they were or who they are.
Mm-hmm.
But to change, if they asked me to completely change, nah, I didn't want to hear it. A lot of guys try to talk to me. But I just didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to be broke, and I didn't have confidence in myself as a young guy. I thought this was the only way I can succeed. So,
almost like the world was stacked against you, so you might as well make it your own way.
Yeah, when you're young, you blame the situation, right? I was a kid blaming well, I grew up here, I grew up broke. I had excuses of why taking the fast track. As you get older, I'm saying what an idiot I was, right?
Hmm.
And I try to tell kids now, you reach some, you're not going to reach some. And unfortunately, the ones you don't reach are going to get killed or they're going to do some killing and they're going to go to prison for a long time. And then one day they'll wake up too, if they get the opportunity, and they go, what the fuck did I just do? I wasted my life.
Yeah, that's
So,
what's really that's what's really cool about your story, and I don't think there's enough people, especially in your position, that are out there trying to do something positive. Like if you think about it, it's like you can use your you can look at your history in two different ways. Like in the moment, at the time you were doing it, you were basically an instrument of death. To be not to be like crude about it or out of line, but since you've changed everything around you, kind of turned it into a tool to like build positivity, try to help people, and that's what people should be listening to what you have to say. You know.
well, I got to tell you, I'll give you an example. I wish I could remember his last name, but I have it on my phone. But the guy's name is Vinny.
Mm-hmm.
And he wrote my Facebook yesterday. Now, this is an older guy. This ain't a kid. This guy had to be 50 and up somewhere. He's got pictures on Facebook. Now, I don't go on Facebook hardly ever.
Same.
I have pages that people that work for me, they run up. I happen to go on and I see the stupid message from this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got pictures with his kids, his grandkid, his wife. Right. So I write the guy back a direct message and I abuse him, on the thing. I write him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what kind of guy goes on Facebook like a bitch and is writing me a stupid message? You got a wife, you got nothing better to do. So
Mm-hmm.
when I'm abusing him, I said to him, you're writing me, but if you run into me, you ain't gonna be writing like that. Now he knows I changed, right?
Mm-hmm.
They all know I changed. So he's banking on I changed so he can write stupid messages. But the problem is his kids, and I wrote all over his page actually yesterday. I wrote on his kids' pages, whatever, pictures of him, his kids, his wife. I wrote. I said, see how easy this is? We can all do this. You want me to embarrass somebody? I'm going to embarrass you. And I wrote some vulgar things to him, to his family. And I'm trying to say to him, how do you like this? Because I want his kids to see this. I want his kids to see what kind of fucking father do we have that's such a coward
Yeah.
that would write that. And this guy is still a coward because some of the things I wrote, honestly, if I was him, I'd knock on my door.
Mm-hmm.
And but obviously he ain't never gonna do it because any real guy or man or gentleman or would never write like this. I just don't get what the hell kind of human being is raised so spineless to write that. If that was my father writing that, I'd be, what the fuck is wrong with you? What kind of,
Yeah.
just what I said. It doesn't matter if we choose a bad path or not, right? And whatever happened in our life, how do you get to be an adult with grandchildren writing like a fucking idiot? I don't even know what words you can use for him because I'm lost for the words. When I see guys like this, does he go in the mirror and think that well, now I know I'm a good, what I don't know, tough guy. I don't know what word you use for him because I can't even get
Yeah.
the mentality.
You know what? It's all of this. It's a poison. It's they talk on their phones because they think it's safe. They don't realize you're messing with people, and I mean, I know
Well, he
like
was writing. I don't mean to cut you off. He was
yeah.
writing about Ronnie One on, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to him, "You're talking to the wrong guy." I said, "You can believe whatever you want from other idiots writing on Facebook, but if you really know the guy like you claim you do, go ask him."
Mm-hmm.
I says because him or me and Ronnie One or more this jerk off. I says knows really what's real with me because Ronnie knows he
Yeah.
was my partner for years,
Mm-hmm.
and Ronnie knows he ain't gonna play with me the way I am. And he said it in court. The guy back then when I was in the life,
Yeah.
I gotta watch. I gotta be nice to him. He'll kill me like everybody else. So when this idiot's writing this, I'm saying, does this guy even know Ronnie, or is he? So go talk to him and go say what he'll tell you. Whether he likes me or not is one thing,
Mm-hmm.
and whether I like him or not is one thing. But the facts are the facts. The past is the past, and the truth is the truth.
Yeah.
You want to spin that truth? Well, go ahead. I says, but you want to write like that? I mean, I don't know that. So how are your kids going to grow up? How's your grandkids going to grow up? they're going to be a spineless and mother effer like you
Hmm.
to be writing that. It's just to me, it's so fucking incredible. You love to get all of them in a room and say, okay, now tell us what you're saying. I just want to embarrass them. It's not that I want to hurt them anymore. I just want to embarrass them.
Yeah, no, I can understand, especially with I was making a lot of mistakes when I was younger, and I didn't listen to any of the people that were trying to advise me to stop what I was doing. And so now, like, I got out of everything that I had going on. And it's tricky because I don't want to name anybody that I was with out of
Right.
respect, uh, but like, I left everything as soon as my wife got pregnant. I wanted to be with her. You know what I mean? And it was everybody was dying of drugs at that point. Heroin is what destroyed everything we had going on. At this point, it's been like I think I'm up to. It was 8 people I was close with personally, including one of my cousins that passed away from an overdose, and the rest were and probably people in my area, probably 20 in the 20s in my town. It's ridiculous. It's
Yeah.
this is and I don't like to bring that stuff up, and I know you suffered a loss, and I'm truly sorry for it over the last couple of years. Um, how do we, how do we? I mean, as a parent myself, I don't know how you deal with it, but I couldn't imagine. But how this is a serious problem that's happening in our country and globally at this point. How do we, in your opinion, how do we fight this?
You fight it like I do now, right? I go to church, by the way. Wednesday was Ash Wednesday, so I went to church and got ashes. I pray for my daughter. I pray for the kids that died. I pray for uh, true presidents and leaders that love the country, like President Trump.
Hmm.
Now, people could disagree or agree with that, right? But facts are facts. If they want to be ideological, their ideology is insane, or they want to be, you could say, like I said earlier, you don't like the president. You could say that. You can have a different opinion. This is America.
Hmm.
But then factually, has he did anything? Has he done anything in the first not even 2 months to change what's going on with drugs and fentanyl?
Hmm.
And of course he did. The border is the lowest ever in our history of crossings.
Hmm.
He's taxing Trudeau, who's a weakling communist bitch that's actually trying to manipulate and talk against Trump because he was supposed to step away, Trudeau. Now he's trying to use it as leverage to keep himself in power in Canada, right?
Hmm.
Because he has no qualms with all these kids dying. Well, no, the guy is soulless because if you really wanted to stop this, you could do what President Trump did. He had Mexico put 10,000 soldiers on the border. He put our armed forces on the border. He gave the ICE the ability to arrest and go after everybody with drugs.
Hmm.
And if you say like the Democratic Party, who I don't, like this guys and people in the Democratic Party, you're a Democrat, that's good, but this is America. You should be all in one party, right?
Hmm.
And in agreement. So if you watch his speech the other day, Trump, and you agree when we disagree when we again, he was talking about lives of kids that were killed, that were murdered, children that were raped. And when he honored them, the Democratic Party didn't clap and stand up for him.
Hmm.
Now, what the fuck does that guy? And I hate to curse. What the fuck does that have to do with politics? There's people's families that are suffering because you open those borders. So why would you not get up and clap for the memory of those children?
Hmm.
I mean, you know how spineless, soulless those people are because their agenda isn't for American people or for those children. You're an American congressman, senator, politician that's supposed to be protecting those children. Now, if you don't agree with Trump on his policies, other things, what does that have to do with those children? What does it do with that little boy that just survived cancer?
Yep.
You don't clap for him. You don't clap for Lincoln Riley. You don't clap for the little 12-year-old girl. And I'm ashamed of myself right now. I can't think of her name. Mungari, Alexis is the mom, I believe. Anyway, a beautiful young girl that was being raped and tortured by two guys, 12-year-old kid, biting them to try to survive. What kind of pieces of garbage are okay and not standing up for her memory? that President Trump honored. This ain't about President Trump. It was about those children.
Yeah.
So how do we change it? What President Trump's doing, like leaders like him, like Governor Abbott's doing, like leaders like him, like Byron Adams, what leaders like him. I don't know. People that are really concerned about, when they're talking about these illegal immigrants, they're coming here illegally and they're committing crimes. They won't even. The mayors were just on the Senate floor. They won't even turn them in after they've been convicted to ICE,
Oh yeah.
after they've been convicted of murders, rapes, robberies. It's amazing to me how they can sit there and tell people they care about American people and they want to take money and fund these illegals, not people that are coming in the right way. I'm talking about criminals that are coming in the wrong way, trying to stay here the wrong way, trying to, what they're doing, selling drugs and attacking kids
Yep.
and killing them, devastating families, devastating my family, me losing my daughter to fentanyl, and how many, not just, it's not like 10 or 20, is millions that are dying. I mean, it's incredible, and these people will not clap for the memory of these people and the lives of these children. I mean, I don't know how sick they could be. The ideology of them is so absurd. And then you got them want to fund, and they care so much about these illegal immigrants and all their craziness, their slush funds. And we have 50,000 veterans that try to protect our rights and freedoms.
Yep.
And they shit on them and they leave them in the street. But they give hotel rooms for these people that are killing people and raping people, and they let them right back out of jail to kill some more.
Absolutely.
Now, it's just crazy, and that's coming from me. That was an ex-gangster.
Yeah.
So if I have a heart and an understanding, they need people honestly like me that understand the streets, that understand what they're doing, how we can help to help ICE and other people grab these guys. So that they do, because people that are in political forum, they don't really understand the street like we do. We know how to reach them, we know how to find them, we know how to go get them, and that's what you got to do, one person at a time. Just continue to fight this to save lives, and you're not going to save it with politicians that are purposely, rigging it. They rather harm the president than help these children. It's crazy.
I mean, it's at this point. I mean, it's been a wild, just year in general. Double assassination attempt on Trump's life. You had what happened in Pennsylvania, and then they thankfully stopped that guy at the golf course that was camped out there.
They helped them. I've said this on, I was in Italy. I did a cover of a magazine in Italy. They came to my house because I told them they were going to hit the president prior. Then I told me to hit him again. And then I explained to them to get within the perimeter that somebody's giving them the information. They didn't just one day get in the car and say, let me drive to the perimeter, and know how to get to the perimeter and where nobody was in the perimeter. And then to get on a roof at in the Carolinas to take a shot at Trump. Somebody told them not only how to get in the perimeter, but then where to go within the perimeter that wasn't going to be guarded. So this isn't by chance, by luck, and these guys aren't professionals. They're being trained by somebody in our government, deep state. Somebody's slipping them that information, and this is all intentional to kill our president. This was not by chance, and they can bullshit. The regular people don't know any better, but somebody that grew up the way I did, this is obvious that they had intel. And they tried everything else with the president, lied about him, tried to lock him up, changed laws, moved around Colangelo from the DOJ to go help prosecute him all over. You got people like Stacey Abrams that not 2 cents. She got $2 billion in her account. This is a joke, everything they did to our president to go after him. Really, it's a shame. Meanwhile, they stand up and clap for Ukraine president.
That
And
was
I feel bad. I feel bad for the Ukrainian people and the Russian people. They're all dying.
I can appreciate, I can appreciate what they're going through. What's happening in the Gaza Strip. I can appreciate that stuff. But for me, not to sound, callous towards it, but when I see the people that suffered from Maui, when I see the people who just went through all the hurricanes, the Palestine train derailment, Flint, Michigan, it's still not fixed. California is like a bad afternoon away from being Mad Max. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Well, Yeah, it is. That's a good scenario, actually. But I'm going to tell you something. You know what? And this is maybe part of my old past.
Hmm.
But like the president just gave a message to Hamas, if they don't give back those hostages, that's your last warning. Honestly, I know that this country won't do it. President Trump won't do it, but I would do it. I'd line up 10 of the next Hamas leaders that they catch, line them up and chop their fucking heads off. I says, and you know what? That'll teach the rest of them, okay, we're not playing games now. You want to kill these poor kids and girls, and I'm not talking about the Palestinian people. I'm talking about Hamas. Talking
Yep.
about the leaders of Hamas. They're sitting on billions of dollars. They're in Qatar or
Hmm.
Qatar, however way you want to say it. And they're ordering out to kill and torture babies. They killed babies,
Yeah.
infants. These aren't human beings. These people only understand one thing,
Hmm.
and that is to kill them viciously.
Yeah.
And, you know, if, you know, again, you know, I did the wrong thing in the wrong way as a kid. As an adult, I'd love to do it the right way for the right reasons. And, you know, if somebody else doesn't want to do it, yeah, I would get up there with a sword and chop their fucking heads off. They deserve it.
Hmm.
And I wouldn't lose any sleep on it either. And I think that's the way they better understand. You want to be vicious? Okay. Our president is a real leader. He's in Joe Biden. He's not full of shit. He's not the left wing ideology that they're okay with over 1,000 people being tortured, raped, pillaged, and destroyed their family generations forever.
Yeah.
And that has nothing to do, again, I'll say it for the people that want to bullshit that switch the words around. That's nothing to do with the Palestinian people. There's a same with them. I feel bad for them because they're suppressed by Hamas too, threatened by Hamas. And you know, if the problem is again like the Ukrainian people, they're good people. They're forcing them to fight. They're dragging them off the street and dragging them to the war to get killed while Zelensky's taking pictures in Hollywood. I mean, it's a joke. The
Hmm.
guy didn't even wear a suit and people say, "Why does that matter?" It fucking matters. It's respect for our
Yeah.
country, for our president.
We're giving you everything in the world, and you show up in it like you're going to a camp out.
But he's
You know.
another guy. The deep state told him to do that and say that on TV.
Yep.
He's too stupid and said it. He tried to challenge the president like he's talking to Joe Biden. He's not, and he wants the war to continue. And people want to. They don't understand that because they don't want free elections in Ukraine. So
Right.
I love when our government's talking about it's not a democratic country. It's
Hmm.
one of the most corrupt countries in Europe. It is the most corrupt country in Europe. And the guy wants the wars because he doesn't want an election. Here's the only time he stays in power. If
Hmm.
that war's finished, he's finished. It's just, so, you know, the people that talk are not talking out of knowledge. They're just talking out of stupidity.
Yeah.
So, you know, the thing is, you want a war while a million people get killed. You're killing kids.
Yeah.
You're never getting whatever happened. You don't, you know, you played your cards wrong. I think the president said that. You played it wrong from the beginning. Who do
Yep.
you think you were challenging with Putin? You kept challenging him instead of trying to go to the negotiating table. But you wanted to be a good puppet for Joe Biden and his regime of thieves.
Hmm.
And you got what you wanted. And instead, you got a million people dying. And our president wants peace. So
Yep.
why isn't everybody agreeing with the president? He wants peace. He doesn't want war. It should be well respected. Nobody that the guy's trying to make sure that nobody loses their lives anymore. But for the people like Hamas, they should be screaming to chop their heads off what they've done to these poor kids and girls.
Hmm. Like it's I'm what I think I'm most fed up with in our country is the double standard on everything. Like, think about it. Even with like, I'm not sure like if it's affected it hit you yet, but being a celebrity figure. So like, think about Gina Carano. Gina Carano
Right.
goes out and she
Yeah.
says what she
Her
says and
dad
gets.
used to play for the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know if you know that.
What's that?
Her dad used to play for the Dallas Cowboys. I
Really?
said, I don't know if you know that yet. Yeah.
Wow. Like it's and she was a great fighter and something. She had the good career with the acting and stuff. She lost everything because she did a tweet against the system. But then, and she said she knows her facts. She talks, she knows what she's saying. But then you have the View. They out there. They can say whatever, whenever. No
Oh my
repercussions.
God.
And it works for the
George
same.
Behar is one of the dumbest human beings you ever heard speak. She
I
should just keep her mouth shut. She's so stupid.
Oh, my wife yells at me all the time because I'll put on like I watch Brandon Tatum a lot. Him, Tim Pool, and they'll play the clips from the View, and I just can't help but watch and just to get mad. I swear it's like, maybe it's something just a bitch about something. I don't know, but The View is so terrible, it gives me cancer. I swear to God.
Well, if you ask some simple questions, right? Donald Trump just put out something: no tax on tips
Mm-hmm.
and no tax on Social Security.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the left won't answer. Why are they against it? They will not answer that.
Yeah.
So they don't. But meanwhile, they're getting double pensions. They take 30% raises when we're in a recession,
Yeah.
almost a friggin' depression. What they did to this country,
Mm-hmm.
and they're taking all kinds of money. They got slush funds all over the place. They're sending money to find out how mice are, if they go on a treadmill, if they transgender. Some great. I mean, it's so crazy.
It
And you
is.
got homeless children. You got our neighborhoods. There shouldn't be a ghetto in this country, and we have them.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, I'm mad because they don't give the money to the inner city, to the school system, school choice. You can go on and on. Our education system is completely broke because they steal all the money. We're like we spend the most out of any country, and we're ranked 40th or 50th or something. Crap in education. I
Yeah.
mean, that's laughable. So what's the problem with completely breaking down the education system? It doesn't work. If it worked and the president was trying to do that, I'd say, yeah, they got an argument. But it doesn't work. You got deans of colleges making $5 and $6 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
Are you kidding me? What, get anybody? They'll take that job for 300,000. What is this? Get this under control. This is a joke.
Yeah. I think the like you were talking about Joan Bear. I think the person that drives me the craziest is Joy Reid, and it was nice to see like she
Oh, I
finally.
hate Joy Reid too. Oh
Oh,
my
like
God.
it,
Yeah,
she.
when she got fired, I was
Yeah.
another one. She went to Harvard. She lives in the Hamptons, and she's making millions. And she's trying to like act like she's a regular citizen with no money.
Yeah.
She's a struggling. She's an antagonist, and that's her job. She's not another one that sick ideology, but she doesn't live by it.
So, and you got to a point. You actually got to meet President Trump.
Yes.
What was your experience like with that? Did you ever think, coming from the background you had, that you would ever have an opportunity to sit like and meet with a president?
Well, when he was president, I met him earlier in life.
Yeah.
When he wasn't president, I was friends with his good friend Roger King,
Mm-hmm.
and I say the same thing all the time. He's such a regular guy, such a nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know anybody can't see. He's just genuine.
Yeah.
You look on him, the way he just talks on TV, he doesn't bullshit, just talks straight. They hate him so much because he's so successful. They hate him so much because he's 20 steps ahead. They hate him so much because he's such a hard worker.
Yeah.
They hate him out of jealousy and envy. And they really all wish they could be putting on their pants the same way he does. They're just not capable. That's the thing about him. If they had a reason, like he said at the speech the other day, no matter what he says, you're not going to clap. Mm-hmm. So when you're talking about a cancer victim, right, that this little boy had brain cancer, I think he had like 12 operations, and you don't clap for that boy, and you took a knee for George Floyd. They're so full of shit. Who buys that?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing that really infuriates me. Do people really think they gave a F about George Floyd? This is a guy who was a gangster. Whatever he did unfortunately for him, he had a bad life.
Yeah.
I'm not hating on the guy, and the guy didn't have to die, and he died of fentanyl, the truth.
Yeah.
He didn't die from the neck thing. That was all a lie too. They were trained. The chief of police lied on the stand. That was part of their handbook, training, everything else to keep your knee on the collarbone. Mm-hmm. But whatever, that's another thing. But that little boy that was on, I don't know if he was Spanish, black, I don't know what he was. Him and his dad was on the DJ, I believe his name is. How do you not clap for that little boy? What a good little kid. He wanted to hug him. He was so, it's amazing that the kid's alive. He had a 12% chance of living. So how sick are they that you took a knee for that guy? And for this child, you don't get up and clap for. I just want to know how they can I want somebody to force them to answer that question one at a time. How do you not get up for that child? That poor kid went through hell and still going through hell every day because you never know what the outcome is if it could come back.
I think it comes down to a lot of the Democrats are kind of like a pull string doll. Like they have like an old school 80s action figure with 6 action phrases that will just be like, no matter what you say, like it's always against Trump. I don't need to answer you. Final, like there'll be 6 of them. There's always these cliche responses, and you walk away.
I love AOC, right? I'd like to ask her, right? She's talking about race all the time, but she's married or living with some bitch kind of guy, like some like whiny guy. But he's white, right? So all that hate bullshit is fake. all that mask bullshit, which is fake. She went to Florida. She had a mask. Or how much millions does she have? She wears designer dresses.
Mm-hmm.
She's a capitalist. She was selling all kinds of sweatshirts.
Mm-hmm.
I could go on. And she doesn't have one illegal living in her house. You got millions now. Put them all up.
Yep.
Since you want to protect them, you say, put them up in your house. Put 20 of them up. You could put up actually a couple hundred because you got millions now. You had zero. You were dancing on a bar as a bartender with pennies.
Mm-hmm.
And she's an imbecile. If she was intelligent, I'd say she's intelligent. I says, and now she's got millions. Where did she get that from?
Yep.
But they don't move nobody in. And then they act like they care about our veterans that are all homeless. Well, how come you're not taking care of them? Why are you sending trillions around the world for your slush funds? I says, but you don't have no money for our veterans. You have no money for 125,000 homeless kids. You have no money for our inner city kids, right? You don't give them no opportunities. You don't give them no free hotels.
Yeah.
You don't give them nothing.
Yeah, and speaking of New York, since you brought up AOC, how do you feel about Curtis Sliwa running for mayor? I mean,
I like Curtis. I told people who asked me, and I did a show. Curtis was on, and I call him. I run into him once in a while in the city. We talk. We have a drink. Listen, the guy sacrificed his whole life for New York City. So he actually put his life on the line legitimately for the city. No different than President Trump did on that podium when he got shot. They're not just talking shit, they're walking shit.
Yeah.
So they're out there walking their talk. So yeah, I hope he wins. I'm an advocate for him. I think he deserves it. He's put a lot of years into New York City. He genuinely cares about that city.
Now, the family you were connected wanted to kill him at one point. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, listen.
You hear it debated through books and people in podcasts, but I've never seen anything. I know he had said it before that the mob wanted him dead. He was one.
Yeah, he never believes me because they wanted me to do it, and I said honestly, I was never going to do it. That's one thing he still thinks that I'm just saying that, but I got no. If I was supposed to do it, I would say it. I said I never wanted to be a part of that, and listen, he's a tough guy. He got out of that car, and he ain't no punk. They can say what they want. He's tough, and he's been on the street and tangled in a lot of situations on the street prior to that. Fighting crime and stuff. So he definitely put in his time. He deserves to be mayor of the city. I hope it happens for him.
Did you have
I'd
any
love to help him
run-ins?
if he's mayor, actually. I'm going to say that now. I'd love to help him in any way I can in the city.
Do we think we're going to see a John Alite campaign ticket at some point?
Yeah. Without a doubt, I'm throwing my hat in the political field shortly.
We need
I
you in
love
there.
politics, and I see what and you know what? I know both sides.
Mm-hmm.
I know the street side 10 times better than anybody else in the government knows, and I know how to live a right life now, and I know what we need to do. I'm educated. I understand the political forum, so yeah, I think pretty soon I'll be throwing my hat in the mix. And I'm also trying to get involved more in different races, and I hopefully in Jersey, Jack Ciattarelli wins for governor.
Mm-hmm.
He's another make New Jersey great again. He's got great ideas, and he's a workaholic and great guy. And he's like Trump to me. He's a very, very articulate, well-spoken, hard. I mean, just every quality you need to be a leader. That's the guy. So I hope to see him as governor, and I'm definitely going to get involved in politics now next couple of years.
That's it. I almost after talking with you and I've talked with Anthony a lot about it. It's now that you guys are on the other side of the fence, maybe you all should just run for office. Like Anthony could take over Springfield, Mass. Or get involved, get rid of Elizabeth Warren. Yeah.
Oh, she's a joke. 75 million she's got in her bank account as a school teacher. And now Pocahontas say I love some of these nicknames President Trump has for them.
Yeah.
I mean, there's another brain dead, whacked out, imbecile liar. Another one, $75 million. Of course they don't want Doge. They don't want Doge because he's uncovering where they getting all this money.
Yeah.
How they getting this money? These are criminals. They're not people that are looking out for the American people. Mm-hmm. They're not looking out for anybody in the inner cities of any of these states. They're just looking out for their pockets. It's incredible what they've done. They completely destroyed our country with stealing. I mean, they're so much more vicious than we were as gangsters. I know gangsters when I see them. And they can wear dresses as gangsters. They can wear suits as gangsters. I know they're gangsters. That's why I'm gonna get involved more because I know what they're doing. They're not gonna spin me like they spin some of these people that don't know any better.
Yep.
You have this other crazy woman now, Crockett. You ever hear her talk? She's cursing on TV. She's an imbecile.
Was that the one
Dumb,
that got
dumb.
into? She got into a Marjorie Taylor Greene
Yes,
or Nancy
yes,
Mace like in the Senate floor.
yeah, yeah. She just was on the after the Trump speech talking about Trump. What are we doing in the war with Russia? I mean, this is supposed to be a Congress. I believe she's a congresswoman. I don't know what she is actually, but she's an imbecile. I mean, just completely uneducated dummy, cursing, dancing, yelling. I don't know how they even get into politics. I don't know who's voting them in, who's backing them with money. I wonder. I don't even know what congressional seat she's got. I got to find out. I got to run against her because I don't think she can make it to 20 if she counts.
Well, I mean, if
It's
she can
really
get out of line
incredible.
and swear and get crazy, I mean,
You
could be a
you know
tough
what's funny?
candidate.
They have no problem that they're stealing all this money, sending it all over the world, but not giving it to the inner cities.
Yeah.
I'll stop right there. Give the money to the inner cities, and you'll hear me not talk anymore.
Mhm.
But they won't. They want to hold those people down in those inner cities, whether you're black, Spanish, Indian, I don't care what you're Arabic. They don't want to see anybody succeed except themselves and manipulate. And I think they destroyed their party. They don't even have a leader. I don't know who's going to lead them. They're clueless. I don't know their actions. They're yelling and screaming. They have no conversation. They can't debate because they're not smart enough to have a conversation. They don't even know what the hell they're saying. Like I said, if you follow what this woman stands for,
Mhm.
I believe her name is Crockett. I can't remember her first name, but I mean, unbelievable that somebody voted her in.
To go back a little bit, at least to the mob,
Yeah.
I was watching a documentary. I'm not sure what it was. A clip from a documentary that you were in. Um, George Grasso, was that the first? That was the first murder you did for the family.
For the family, yeah. Not the first, but the first for the family. Well, actually, it was actually no, it wasn't. Um, we tried to hit the Jamaicans were way before for the family. Um, that was when Johnny Gebbett was the shooter and I was the driver. So
There was something that you said though that like it almost paints a different story. Um, you said it's when the gun went off with George Grasso, like you died with him. You felt you killed yourself with him. Like, what did you mean? Like, how did you feel in that moment? Like,
but I said it to in a lot of different things now in magazines.
yep.
I did the cover of Life magazine. They spoke to me off camera on before we did the cover there about redemption and
Mm-hmm.
in Germany. And I said when you cross that line, there's no coming back, right? You destroy yourself. A part of you dies with them, and the only way you can, I know I can't go backwards, right? So
Yeah.
there's people that are gonna, constantly, no matter what, uh, dislike you for your past, and there's nothing you can do. Jesus had disciples that were all bad, actually, or mostly bad, and those are the best guys that went out and preached for and spoke for Jesus and God. So I just think that because of experience, you can go
Yeah.
out and try to reach people and make sure that they don't make those same mistakes that we did. And the only thing you can do is keep moving forward. And President Trump said it. It's not to make you to compete with the next person. It's just to make a better you every day.
Yeah.
How do you wake up and become a better you? So you try to do that. You try to become a better you by saving as many kids and people in around you and in the world that you can by doing the right thing and preaching the right things. I try to show the difference between some guy that comes in and he kills a girl and he robs a store and he kills the store owner and it's terrible, right? Those people I don't think will ever be able to be redeemed because to do that you have no moral bound. We killed each other as gangsters, even though it's a bad thing to do,
Mm-hmm.
obviously. But we signed up for this. We didn't sign up to go kill a store owner or hurt a child or a
Hurt
girl.
the innocent and
Yeah, the innocent. I think there's a big difference. That's why I don't like these illegals that are coming in because they're doing everything to hurt the everyday family.
Hmm.
They're not coming in and killing each other. Go kill each other. I don't think anybody will care.
I
But
think it's a really tough position, though, if you think about it. Like, when you look back at it, it's a tough position that any of you guys were put in. Because if the order comes down, like, if you're not, if you don't do it, so that guy's still going to die, but somebody's going to earn their stripes killing you, too.
yeah, well, we put ourselves in that position. That's why I don't pour me the situation I'm in.
Yeah.
I put myself in that situation, so I don't want to be. I'm not the victim. I made myself in the position I was, and I caused myself a lot of pain, heartache, ruined my family, and the biggest reasons why I don't kill guys now that open their mouth is, they think they're safe because I'm not going to do what I used to do. And you know as well as I do, or anybody knows as well as that knows me, that they wouldn't get away with this if
Yeah.
this was me in the old days. Because all they had to do was say something about me, and they wouldn't hear that I was mad at them. I'd just come get them, and they could say, "Oh, that's bullshit," but there's a million people that grew up with us. They know the truth. So,
I was
um,
I was just watching the other night with my wife. I was watching the that documentary you did with Trevor McDonald.
yeah, Trevor's
Um,
great guy actually.
and you could see if you look at, like, if you watch, but I don't know when the last time you watched that, but look at yourself in that documentary and then look back at just the past images of yourself. Like, you look extremely relieved. Like, you actually look genuinely happy and relieved. Was that when you were just completely done with that life? Like, you were just moving forward?
Yeah, you keep going into different parts of your life and redemption, right?
Hmm.
Redeeming your life. And as you keep moving forward, like I'm embarrassed when people find out. I go to political things and, when they know it's me, I'm embarrassed. I don't want them to know my past.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I have to talk about it and it's part of my who I am. So, people say, well, why you always talk about it? Because this is who I am. What do you erase your whole life?
Yeah.
It's who I am. I make a living in this genre, but I also pass the right message in this
Yeah.
genre. So I'm not advocating for that life. I'm advocating against that life. And I just, the truth's the truth. Whatever happened, happened. And, I'm just embarrassed because I'm around a lot of good people. And when I'm around them, I don't want to be that person known for those things back then. But also, I can't hide from it. And it also helps me to save some kids' lives because they know it's me. They know what's true and what isn't true. And I know the street world's, is bullshit. Just look at politics, how
Yeah.
vicious it is. And, it's the same in the mob world. Actually, we got all our things from them.
Hmm.
They didn't get it from us. That's why I said I recognize what they're doing with all their extortion tricks and their kickbacks and all the criminal activity they do and the attempts on President Trump's life and all of it. John, the Kennedys being killed, um, Martin Luther King. You could go. I could go through all of them. Malcolm X. We know what this is. This
Yeah.
ain't just random stuff. These are no different than mob hits. We can see through this stuff. I see everything before it happens. So that's why I said politics is something I should get into because I understand it. I know the maneuvering they do. I know the treachery.
Yep.
I'm 10 steps ahead of them. So,
You'd definitely be tough enough for it. And I think that they wouldn't be, you'd be kind of in the same category as Trump. I don't think they'd be ready for it.
yeah, well, because you talk straight.
Yeah.
People don't like straight talk. They'll call you a liar like they do to Trump. Every day he's a liar, he's a liar, he's a liar. The
Hmm.
most successful liar I know then, so, and he doesn't hide from anybody. I love the way he points them out. He goes right at him. That's why they can't stand him. They're so scared of him. They're so weak.
Yep.
That's you ever see when they just showed it all of the Democrat Party was reading the same thing about President Trump. They gave it a 30 and the same talking points. They're like actors on TV. It's a joke.
Hmm.
I mean, it's really crazy how sick they are.
It, I hope that even with this interview, I hope with the platform, that's why I didn't want to stay too hard in the mafia. I want people to see you for what you do now, who you are today. Know what your past a little bit, but like you have the, like, literally the ultimate redemption story. And you should be recognized for that, like the amount of good you do. And I know, like, I was listening to different things. I know Gene Borello was talking about how you guys were getting shadow banned a lot. from YouTube, and maybe it's just stepping in. Like, in today's world, people get so uneasy, by everything. They're too damn sensitive. But I really think that people should recognize that people can change, and I think you're the prime, definition of
Well,
that.
I got to be honest. I mean, around the world, they've all open embraced me. UK did. They gave me covers. They gave me
Mm-hmm.
centerfolds of magazines. Germany gave me the cover of Life magazine. In my country, they gave me layouts several times in Living Well magazine. In Italy, they gave me the cover.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but in all the countries, in Switzerland, they gave me a huge layout. Forbes magazine. So I have been recognized all the work I've been doing the last 15 years in talks and the kids that I work with, and so I do appreciate the people that did give me a shot and let me open. They open their arms to me. But like I say, it isn't about me only. If
Mm-hmm.
you come after me and like that idiot guy I was talking about earlier, he's such a little prick that every kid that wants to change his life or be a success and doesn't turn around and blame his past. And I blame myself. I don't blame my past. I blame myself.
Mm-hmm.
But they're hurting every kid that wants to try to change their life because guys
Yeah.
like him intimidate them not to do it because they don't have the backbone or the shoulders to do it. And me, I just like to call them out and tell them exactly what he is. Because if you wanted to be a gangster, you wouldn't be typing. Go be a gangster. It's
Mm-hmm.
like the people that talk about the war. You want the war so bad? Or you believe in Hamas so bad, go fly there and go fight with them.
They
If
won't
you
though.
believe in the Ukraine war, go ahead, go fly there and fight. No one's stopping you getting on a plane. If you don't like this country, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
What, are you stuck here? I says, these people make you laugh because all they do is complain and cry and blame everybody but themselves.
Yeah.
No, it's your fault. Get up, go to work, put your pants on, be a hustler,
Yep.
and do something, that's, positive. Do something that helps other people.
Mm-hmm.
AOC, you all talk that bullshit. I'd love to get them. That's why I said love to talk to them and tell them, well, how many people, why don't you buy a building with that 18 million you got now
Mm-hmm.
and put them all in there, pay for everybody. Why don't you do it? And what's holding you back?
I
They're
always,
just full of shit.
I always thought that, I know I've caught a lot of shit for talking about it this way, but all during COVID, when we had all the riots, the people, the burning the cities down, that were peaceful protests, I should say, according to
They're all
certain media.
paid. These are paid protests by George Soros.
Yeah.
Guys like him because they're all wearing uniforms. What are you getting uniforms? Go. How many things since I'm a kid we're organized, wise guys and different guys.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get 50 guys there. I said, how many times and my friends were all gang members. Where you getting the uniforms from?
Mm-hmm.
I says, where you getting all the backpacks from? Where you getting all this material from? It's funded.
Yeah.
It's stupid. Even all these stupid, dumb protests.
Mm-hmm.
Why would anybody protest? They're saving us our Social Security money. They're stealing.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they stop Doge from doing that? They're trying to save. They're trying to save us money.
Mm-hmm.
Who would say, "Oh, we don't want them investigating"? Only Democratic Party because it's investigating the money they're stealing and lining their own pockets with.
But it's like, I think especially during those riots, we had somebody gets arrested, then you got celebrities bailing them out. If you bailed that person out and then they went and they murdered somebody, you should be brought up on charges with it. Like,
Well, I just said that actually. Anybody that's helping ICE to escape ICE, and if they commit a crime and it's found out, they should be charged with that crime.
Yeah.
No different than RICO.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing with all these money scams these government people do. Charge them with RICO. They're all involved in a group how they're stealing this money. I said charge a couple of them so this stops.
Yeah.
They're all bureaucratic, full of shit. They're actually yelling and screaming because they don't got it because they're not going into the office.
Mm-hmm.
What are you kidding me? You work for us first off. We didn't vote you in, and then you don't want to go to work on top of that, and then you want us to pay you, and they think they're right that they don't got to answer anybody else. Sick of these people. You imagine that you open up a restaurant and nobody goes to work, and you just what do you mean nobody goes to work? Well, I'm just going to go in 1 or 2 days this week, and you're going to get paid. And I own the restaurant. I got to pay you, and you don't come to work.
Mm-hmm.
No different. How do you even think they're right? How do you're fighting with the president for saying no? You want to work, you got to come to work.
It's a whole new mentality amongst the world now, because it's like, even when I was doing management in retail, we bring some kid in, they spend their time on their phone, then they don't like that. If you calmly say get off your phone,
look at the guy in Southern District of FBI. I think his name's James Doney or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
He was hiding all the Epstein files.
Yep.
What kind of human being is this?
Hmm.
This guy was raping kids, selling kids. There's all I don't care who was there, judges, whoever the hell was there, senators,
Yep.
ball players. How are you protecting them?
Hmm.
Because they paid you off, they threaten you. Now you're head of the FBI in Southern District. You're that spineless, and you're supposed to be you're upholding the law, and then you're going to tell some kid in our neighborhoods that doing something wrong. Oh, the law does applies to them, and they're not doing what these guys are doing. Actually,
Yep.
these guys, you're supposed to be head of the FBI in Southern District of New York, and you're the guy supposed to be upholding the law and showing everybody up front the respect for this country and the law. And if you don't do it, how are you going after some kid selling a couple nickel bags somewhere?
Hmm.
And nowhere near as bad as what they're doing, protecting people, raping kids,
Well, it's the same
selling
thing what they
kids.
did with Kamala Harris. Everybody's swooning over. Like I don't even know what they're swooning about. First off, she back when in the 2020 campaign or the primaries or whatever, she was the first person knocked out. Her criminal record, she's
She could
putting
get
people
one
away.
percent vote.
Yeah, she's putting people away with lengthy charges or with unreasonable sentences. She withheld evidence on that guy.
Oh yeah, yeah, the guy for
Um,
life sentence, yeah, and
she
made fun of the guy.
and she is as corrupt as they make them. She's a terrible politician. I mean, but it shows like even look at the threat with Cash Patel. They're terrified of him. They were terrified of this guy coming in. They're trying to paint him out that he's a devil. Like they're scared of something. Even when I talked, the corruption in all the federal agencies is ridiculous. When I talked with Jay Dobbins, for those who don't know, he was in the ATF. He was on countless undercover things. Do you figure the amount of stuff that he did, the sacrifice doing his job, they burned him in the end over politics. They were done with him. You did what you did. You're out. That was it. He's out bad. You know what I
But
mean?
look, this is what the left does. If you like Adams or not, the mayor of New York City,
Yeah.
they attacked him like crazy because he didn't agree with them.
Mm-hmm.
They're really I got to tell you, they're vicious. They're really vicious bastards. And if you're not on board, you're a racist. You're this. You're that. This is their game.
Mm-hmm.
But their game is also for themselves only to divide and conquer. So the Machiavelli, typical gangster shit. Just make everybody hate each other, make everybody at each other's throats.
Mm-hmm.
Let the zoo begin, and as long as you keep the chaos, they keep stealing their money and they keep doing what the slush funds. And now they see that they're being exposed by Doge, by the president, by everybody. Pam Bondi, now that she's in office, and Cash Patel, the games are over. It's
Yes.
like having a substitute teacher in school for all these years, having that imbecile in there who's brain dead. He wasn't running anything. I said, now you got some true leaders in every position.
Mm-hmm.
You have Robert F. Kennedy. You have Christine Nomi. You have all of them. You got a good group of people that are really America First policy, and a lot of them were Democrats and independents.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have all of them that Trump actually the president actually put a great team together this time
Oh
around.
God. And you want to talk about unifying? Bringing Bobby Kennedy in was probably one of the best things he did. That's
Oh,
unifying. Bobby crossed. They crossed and met in the middle, and
yeah.
and that's what's important. You're starting to see that change. I mean, and Bobby, he's not wasting time. You see when he called out Bernie Sanders, I was laughing.
Oh, I love when he did that to Bernie
Yeah.
Sanders.
Oh
Bernie
no.
Sanders got all that pharmaceutical money. He's trying to lie like he didn't get it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
This
from the
is what they
workers, not
do.
the companies.
Yeah,
Insane.
unbelievable. Yeah, it's saying what they say. Most ridiculous things is they don't know what to say when they lie. I mean, if you asked, just I didn't know Elizabeth Warren was from where you are. If you ask her, just can you tell us? No fighting, no yelling. Well, tell us where you got the 70 million, 75 million in your bank account. You were a teacher. You were a professor. What'd you get? 150,000 a year? Where the hell is all this money coming from?
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, they should have to give it back or go to jail. They should really, it really should be, because if it was one of the kids from my neighborhood, they get 30 years.
It's. I mean, it boils down to it. Like like Michael Francis was talking about the mafia democracy. I was watching him, duel it out with Bill Maher like a week ago.
Right.
They, from your time on the street, when you look at the government, do you see the similarities? Did the U.S. government steal your guys' tactics?
Listen, John Gotti, I said it 100 times. John Gotti, father, must have said 100 times, the governments are the gangsters, not us.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to think he was nuts. Man, he was way ahead of the curve, because I've said this on different shows. We were in the numbers business, the government made it the lottery. We were in the drug business, they made 3 drug zones. We were in the weed business, they took over pot business, made it legal.
Hmm.
We were in the sports business, they got bookmaking. We were in the unions, they control the unions. They took over every industry and they killed it. Actually, they're destroying every industry. At least we ran it efficiently. These people don't run it efficiently, and they're stealing like crazy every which way. So it's amazing. And along with these wars, the military-industrial complex is making zillions. So when you see a piece of shit like Dick Cheney,
Hmm.
all of a sudden his buddies with the Democratic Party with his sick daughter, and they're acting like he was a great. They hated him.
Yeah.
Now that they're all on one side trying to keep the wars going and going after President Trump because he doesn't want the wars,
Yeah.
because he's not a warmonger, he's for peace.
Yeah.
And they're against him because all they want is money. They don't care how many million people die.
Yeah.
They just want money and power and money. But
That's all it boils down to.
but the Democratic Party has been destroyed now. And then we had a lot of these rhinos in the Republican Party. They're being X'd out and they're being exposed. And you're getting America first, what it should be.
Yeah.
Even with the trade agreements, he's taxing them the same they're taxing us. I mean, when you got Trudeau talking bullshit, we can't get our farmers into Canada, but he wants to bring everything here. They got 1 million banks here, but we can't bring ours there.
I love.
And they're taxing the shit out of us, and they got no, and we protect them. F this guy. And meanwhile, this guy abused everybody in Canada. 4 shots on him, killed them on people, endangered so many people.
Yep.
Took the truck and stole their money out of their bank accounts. Everything that was communist,
Yep.
he did to them.
I loved with Trump, with Trudeau, when he told him, he's like, well, you can always become the 51st state. And, it pissed him off. And then Trump went online and was just like, had a great meeting with the governor of Canada. Like, he's so good at riling people up. I love Trump.
Look, he's too strong for them, too intelligent for them. He's way ahead of them. And this is the thing that people are understanding how smart the guy is,
Mm-hmm.
and how hardworking he is. He's up at 5 o'clock in the morning and he doesn't go back to bed till 12 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock in the morning. He gets up at 3-4 hours sleep. Nobody can keep this pace.
Oh, yeah. Dana White said it with him. He said that Trump flew out, did a rally, flew out after the rally to like one of the fights. They left the fight. You figure Trump got there at 10. He leaves there at the fight at 2 in the morning. He's back at the hotel. He calls Dana, talks to him for an hour and a half. And then he's calling him it's like 7 o'clock in the morning. Like the man, he doesn't sleep. I remember Joe Rogan even joked that it'd be how much a picture of Donald Trump sleeping would be worth.
You know what I don't like, though, what they do, because he was such a nice guy, even when he had all the casinos,
Mm-hmm.
he helped everybody. I don't like, like I always say, you don't like his policies? Okay, fight it out in policy. Why are you attacking this man personally and his family?
Mm-hmm.
They wish they could be a pimple on his ass. This guy's and his whole family is really, really kind people. Everybody that I know that works at Mar-a-Lago,
Yep.
they all say the same thing. It's not just once in a while. Every day in and day out, they're polite to everybody. They're nice to everybody. They're a perfect family to represent this country.
Yep.
Yet look at the other fucked up guy and his family. I mean, it's incredible talking about Sleepy Joe.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a joke.
It is.
We were and they wanted to protect him. This is how much the Democrat Party lies.
Yep.
The guy was incompetent. They knew that, and they still try to lie from protect him.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they make fools of themselves and of our country around the world,
Yep.
we were a laughing stock. This is about the rest of the world seeing us, how weak we were. It was a disgrace. We went from being 0 on the meter to up to 100 now with this president. What a difference around the world.
But
Unbelievable.
so we're gonna wrap us up. So what do you got in the works? Anything coming up? Anything you want to plug? Shamelessly plug away.
I'm saying this. Well, follow me on my Instagram and my TikTok. My name is John Alite on all that, and I'm doing a lot of stuff going on. I'm doing another Netflix. I'm in the middle of signing a contract for a new movie. I'm doing a movie Pony. I start filming that. That's been out for a couple of years. I've been doing some filming, but we finished filming, I think, in May. I'm doing another Netflix I already filmed. That'll be out in June, I believe. They're coming from France and Germany to do my other Netflix. I'm doing another one, and then they just called me about doing a movie I can't talk about. It's a series, it's not a movie, actually. and we didn't sign the contracts yet, but pretty sure that's going through also. So I'm busy. I'm doing a
You
lot of magazines.
always
I do a
moving,
lot of
man. You
international stuff.
always hustling, always out there working.
Yeah, I try to keep my YouTubes up there. It's hard to keep up with all the work I'm doing because I'm flying all over the place. I'm probably in 15 countries every year now, so I move around a lot, and I'm happy. I like what I'm doing. I like helping kids, and I'm getting involved in politics, so I'm busy with that also. So hopefully, you see me on a ticket somewhere shortly. So without a doubt, I'm going to keep doing a positive thing. My life turned around 15 years, going on 20 years actually.
Yep.
So I got a track record of doing the right thing with my life and kids and schools, and I do a lot of pro police stuff. And for the people who don't like it, it's too bad. I do a lot of stuff first responders, firemen, veterans. I'm huge with the veterans, and it's positive life, man. I'm not living that negative stuff. And anybody that talks about that negative, go ahead. But I'll stay with the good people of this country, and I'll keep pushing for people like President Trump that makes America first. He's America's first president, and he's for the people. So when people say anything different, he's for America first. He's for our veterans. What else do you want? He's for peace. I mean, I don't know what else they would want. There's nothing else that somebody can do. And for my daughter and everybody who lost their life for fentanyl, my friend David Simon, I'm going to talk about him and First Black Poster Project. They're teaming up on fathers for fighting for fentanyl, and they're doing a box in each gym around the country, especially the north and east corridor. Anybody that's a fighter wear shirts fighting for fentanyl, fighting against fentanyl. So means something to me. Obviously, destroyed my life, my family's life, my daughter's son, Braden. So the fight against fentanyl was huge for me, and what the president has done, we can't personally thank him enough. So, and it
And
just began. So that's a war against all our kids dying. So,
we're gonna have all of your social medias. We're gonna have all the links down below, including the Black Posters Society project, which I recommend people go check out, see if there's
that's Dee
anything.
Gillen, yeah, Dee Gillen and David Simon. Dee Gillen's been working that for years. She lost her child too. David Simon is a friend of mine, a Jewish guy involved with a lot of. We know each other since we're kids, and he jumped in for my daughter and other people, and he's going to fight. He gets in the ring still for 35 and up, and fighting for behalf of the fight against fentanyl. So it's a great thing. And one thing I want to talk about, and I hope somebody listens to this. I want somebody to put law in front of President Trump through Congress for not be able to sell drugs on the dark web or on the internet, because that's where they're getting a lot of the fentanyl and everything is selling through the internet. I think should make it illegal to be able to buy drugs through the internet, no matter where it's coming from.
I agree. I mean, it's we gotta find any way in every way, and it starts in the community, in your local communities. We have to get back to that, our roots, looking out for one another, helping each other, stop with the fighting, slow it down. I know me and John got a little political with you, but we're gonna say it like it is.
Yeah.
But don't forget, everybody, like, subscribe, follow this thing. And I want to really mention anybody that's in my area. You know who I am, or you know what I'm doing. It doesn't matter. Woke at Crossroads. If you're struggling with friends, family, anybody struggling with addiction, hit me up, DM me, and we'll get you in touch. I'll have the links direct to that program down below.
Follow my YouTube. I have my
Yeah,
channel too, if anybody is watching. So
yeah.
I appreciate that.
Get over it. Yeah, get over it and subscribe and follow John. Follow him on Instagram, which again, everything's gonna be listed below. Follow John on Instagram. Follow him on YouTube. There's a lot of valuable stuff. Everything in life, like I say it all the time, the path in life is undetermined. It's really what you decide to make it. So, this has been a great conversation with somebody that has seen, done it all. You can say what you want, but I mean, he defines the true story of redemption, and I think more people need to hear what John has to say. And if you think he's full of shit, then you're a lost soul, and you should really listen and pay attention. He's got a great
Well, I
message
hope
to
every
share.
kid that, the negative people are always going to be negative, and no matter what I say, just what the president said, during his speech at Congress is they're going to go against no matter what you say. But for me, it ain't about me. It's about those kids that want to change their life, or any guys or girls that have been in trouble in their life. It's never too late. Change your life. Go find God. Go to church. Redeem yourself. Reinvent yourself. Go to work. Work hard, and you can change. If you want to change, change. Nobody's stopping you. It's never too late. So I hope they follow that message.
All right, everybody. You guys have a great night. Thanks, John, so much
Thank
for
you.
taking the time to sit
You're
with
welcome.
me.
You're welcome. We'll stay in touch for sure. I appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
Thank you.
Okay.
And we're out.
Thank you.